All right, everybody, welcome into the High Noon broadcast. Whoa. I'm getting a little bass there. Just how far down do you want to go? We can talk about over a cup of Joe. That's weird for me. I wonder what's happening. Anyway, hi, everybody. I am Pugs Moran. Welcome into the High Noon Show. We do this each and every day, noon till typically around 2 o'clock. Sometimes a little bit later, sometimes going to go a little shorter, but we shoot for 2 hours. What we do here is we give you all of the day's news. Absolutely everything that's trending. If it's trending, if it's a headline, if it's a hot topic, if it's something people are talking about in your little personal universe, that I'm going to try and cover it here and get you all prepped up for the day ahead. No topic is too ridiculous. And there's a couple of ridiculous topics today. Trending. People are talking about them. So, hey, I am honor bound. I am honor bound to cover whatever it is that is trending or whatever it is that is happening. You can also join us. We do another show. We do 2 streams a day here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Show 2 comes at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's right. All time. I can't. What is happening with my voice? Pillow Talk, that comes on at 9 p.m. Central Standard. I'm really distracted by my voice right now. Sounds good. It sounds different. And I hate the sound of my voice. So anything that sounds different, I will just interpret as sounding good. You may have it. Gonna go very deep today. Gonna be able to hit bottoms that I've never been able to hit before. Pillow Talk, that's a show I do with Parker, James Parker. It's Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform every night at 9 p.m. That's more conversational. This is more about topics, things you need to know, things that are happening in the world. That one is stupid. Pillow Talk is stupid. It's just me and James talking about whatever. It's a conversation. It's an ongoing, free-flowing conversation between 2 people who deeply, I almost said love. We don't love each other. We certainly don't deeply love each other. Deeply appreciate one another's point of view and enjoy one another's company. But really don't agree on much. We don't really have much in common. Ain't. Nah. But we do enjoy the art of conversation and our ability to hash things out. Hi, Steve. Steve is in the chat room. Steve is here. Al is here. Last night, we were talking about people's personal this was on the Pillow Talk. This is kind of stupid stuff we get into on the Pillow Talk show. We were talking about people's ethnicities. We were talking about people's familiar culture, their family, where their family comes from. What do they have? Any real attachment to whatever it is. Like myself, I'm Irish, right? So I was raised in a very Irish family. Everything was Irish. This is Irish, back in the old country, those kind of things. We were very attached to who we were as Irish Americans. And I was looking at some names in the chat room, and one of our guys, Michael Almeida, I'm sorry, Michael. I was calling him Mickey. And I had pegged him as being Italian. I'm like, oh, that's an Italian name. And he's like, nope, Mexican. I'm like, okay. Apparently I'm not as good at this as I thought. Whatever. If I had seen you, though, I might have been able to go, okay. Okay, I can see. What do you mean you can look at somebody and tell their ethnicity? Yeah, I can. I can look at somebody and I can get a pretty good ballpark as far as what their family's ethnicity is. The reason I'm bringing this back up is because we kept talking about race. It's like, that's racist. You see someone and you ask them if they're German. That's racist. No, it's not racist. Racist is racist. There are specific races. When you fill out one of those, government forms, which race do you identify with or whatever, and it gives you like some very white, black, Asian, Eskimo. Sometimes there's like a Eskimo thing, a Native American. Trying to think of any others. Latino, Hispanic, and so you check your race. But when I ask somebody if they're German or Ukrainian or Russian or what, that's not me being a race. I'm not talking about their race. Their race is, they're a white guy. They're a white European. Somebody had mentioned something to me about how, why was that being framed as a conversation about whether you're racist or not? I'm like, I know. Actually, I'm glad that you brought that up because you're absolutely right. I have no idea why that would be. All right, let's see. We got Stephen Ray Martinez. I'm going Mexican. We've got Jennifer Hernandez. I'm going Mexican last name. Just a KB artist. No idea. Although I do know him personally, so I know what he is. He would be of the, actually, Barbara, some French in there. There's probably some Anglo-Saxon in there. Al Gamboa. Hey, look, I'm telling you something. If Al Gamboa, even though he says hello, amigo, I don't know. Al Gamboa, that sounds Italian to me. That sounds like, Al, you Italian? Al sounds Italian. Yeah, I know. Stevie Ray Martinez, I got you. He's Mexican. Jennifer, women are tricky though, because Jennifer, she might be married to a guy who's Mexican. Jennifer, she might be Dutch. I don't know. She's whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to address that. Kenny Jenkins. Jenkins is about as Anglo-Saxon as it gets. Collins. Whoa, Collins is Anglo-Saxon. April Michelle. Well, I don't know. If Michelle was your last name, then you are absolutely 100% French, because ELLE, that is French spelling. El Gamboa, he says he's Spaniard. He was adopted. All right, were you adopted into an Italian family? Because I'm going with Gamboa. I'm going with that as being Italian. April Michelle says it could be African American. It could be. But that would be your race. I'm talking about the cultural influence, the ethnicity of the last name. Yeah, 23andMe. I've never done 23andMe. Years ago, I did some like weird precursor on the radio in Chicago where we all found out what we were. And it was like, I don't know, it was something different. It was before it was so easy with 23andMe. It was just, I don't know. It also told us like what diseases we were probably going to get. Some shyster came in. I have a book and we can do this process and we can figure. And so I don't know. We did that. Michelle is her middle name. Michelle is definitely French in nature. McNair. McNair. Oh, she's McNair and not McNair, which is a big difference. If you are a McNair, then you are Scottish scum. If you are a McNair, then you're one of my countrymen. You're an Irish person. Mick is Irish, Mac is Scottish. Al Gamboa. Okay, so Gamboa in this context is an Italian, is not Italian. It is a Mexican family, so it's a Latino. Okay. I'll tell you, man. Italians. I guess I am learning that it's a fine line between the Italian and the Mexican. Right now, like any Italian racist was, what are you talking about? We're white guys. No, you're not. Not according to my grandpa. My grandpa would not have considered an Italian guy a white guy. He wouldn't have. He just wouldn't have. That's how my grandpa rolled. All right, let's talk about what today is. It's high noon. That's what we do here every day. We start every day at noon. High noon. It is the 9th day of March. It is a Wednesday afternoon, the 68th day of the year. There are 297 days remain until the end of the year. So as I like to say, get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right, I'm going to stay on schedule here. I plan the show out specifically. These topics that we're going to be talking about are in a specific order. Well, some of them. At the end, I found a couple and I was like, ooh, I got to add that. And I just dropped it in anywhere. But I want to start doing what day it is at the very top because I keep forgetting. And I think that we should go into the whatever comes next, the discussions that we're about to have. We should go into that with at least the knowledge of what day it is. So should we need to apply any of the constructs of what this day is, what we're supposed to be celebrating to the way we think about the topics ahead? I think that'd be a good thing. It is National Registered Dietitian and Nutritionist Day. Okay, I got nothing on that. National Barbie Day. It is National Barbie Day. Hey, hey. It's National Barbie Day because that's one of the things that I'm going to mention when we go into what happened today. The first Barbie doll was rolled out today, so it's National Barbie Day. I'll tell you this: I'll save my Barbie hot takes for a little bit later. I'll tell you later. It's National Crab Meat Day. Do you know that I don't know if I like crab meat? I don't know. I don't know if I like crab meat. I know what I like. I like imitation crab meat. I like the stuff I get at the store. You know, the stuff in the little, you eat it and you put it and you make like a crab salad or a crab sandwich or something like that. I love that stuff. But I think, I think that stuff's all like haddock. That's all just like white fish that they're like, hey, this stuff kind of looks like crab. And then they add like a little crab coloring to it. But does it taste like crab? I don't know. I know that I like store-bought bagged haddock that is pretending to be crab. So I don't know if I like crab meat. I haven't had much crab. If I'm in a position where it's like, hey, you should get crab, then that means lobster is also available. And I always go with lobster. I don't know. I wasn't raised a rich kid where we have access to seafood like 3 times a week. I don't know. Whenever we were at a place where there was like seafood on the menu, I would always go with the lobster. If crab is an option, that means lobster's an option. That means I'm going to go with lobster. So I don't know. I think I've only had crab. Isn't there a lot of work involved in crab? Isn't that like you go, let's go out and get some crab claws, and then you're like, you got a hammer and stuff. Yeah, I don't want to work that hard. I don't need it. That's it. That's my hot take on crab. Too much work for too little payoff. That's what it is. Too much work to get to that little. Yeah. So, but anyway, if you're into crab meat, happy Crab Meat Day. It is National Get Over It Day. Hey, get over it about how crab is too hard. All right, I'm going to get over it. National Get Over It Day. What do I need to get over? Okay, let me think about this. Is there anything that I'm stewing on that I need to get over? I need to get over James Parker's crappy internet from last night. That really bugged me. It didn't bug me. Like, I'm not mad at him. I'm just mad at, the universe. I'm not mad at like, what the hell? Here I really wanted to go deep on a conversation we were having yesterday, and it just became impossible. and without his reaction to the things I was going to say in real time, because he was skipping, he was going all Max Headroom. It just it wouldn't have been. It was a delicate subject. We were talking about ethnicities and stuff, and I wanted to have a real serious conversation with him where we could stretch out and we could really get into details without, being taken out of context and saying they hate German people. See, I didn't want that, and we just got into it. So it's National Get Over It Day. I'm going to get over that. And we're gonna rally back tonight. It's National Meatball Day. All right, so if somebody says, hey, you want a meatball or you want some crab meat? Because it's also Crab Meat Day. I'd go with meatballs. Meatballs all day long. I love meatballs. You can make bad meatballs, though. Like, there are people, like meatballs, good meatballs need to have some garlic in it. They need to have some onions, some, like, really finely diced onion. Garlic, there needs to be garlic involved there. Not a whole bunch of breadcrumbs. I do not oppose some breadcrumbs in a meatball. Some, a little bit. But, a lot of times you're like, hey, it's all you can eat of meatballs. And then it's like 90% breadcrumbs, and you're like, what the hell? This is... I had meatballs once that weren't made with breadcrumbs, but they were made with crunched up graham crackers. I know, doesn't it sound weird? But it was strangely delicious. It was strangely good. They were called graham cracker meatballs. I don't know. All right, so that's what it is. It's Meatball Day, it's Get Over It Day, it's Crab Meat Day, it's Barbie Day, and it's National Registered Dietitian and Nutritionist Day. So there you go. If you're out there And in any of those things, congratulations, it's your day. Let's talk about what happened on this day in history. Why is today, March the 9th, such a cool day, or at the very least, memorable day? Because there's some uncool things that happened on this day. And we'll start with McCarthyism. On this day in 1954, CBS television broadcast See It Now, a report on Senator Joe McCarthy. This was See It Now was Edward R Murrow's show. If you've ever heard the name of Edward R Murrow, Edward R Murrow was one of the first real journalists in America. He was a truth seeker. He was legit because he existed in a news vacuum before news departments for networks were required to make money. See, as soon as news, around 1980, I always go back, around 1980, Fred Silverman, actually it was a little before 1980, but 1980 is when everybody kind of jumped in. Guy by the name of Fred Silverman, who was a television executive, looked around and said, how do we make more profit for this network? He was ABC. And he goes, I know. He goes, we can start dumbing down the news and get dummies to watch news. Dummies buy stuff, right? And they're like, yeah, dummies buy all kinds of stupid stuff. Dummies don't watch the news, no. Hey, but there's a lot of dummies out there. How can we get more dummies watching the news? And he invented the news magazine. He invented, he didn't invent it, but he said, get me a news show that'll attract dummies. It's not even dummies, just like less serious people. So they created a thing called 2020, and 2020 became a hit. The dummies are loving 2020. They yelled in the halls of ABC. And then they decided, they went, hey, wait a second here. We can actually make money off making news for dummies. And that's all we have now. We have dummy news. We have dummy news only designed to make you sit through the commercials. That's what news is. But Edward R Murrow, he didn't exist in that world. He existed in a different world where he was righteous and this was wrong. And I'm going to tell the world. See, news used to be networks used to be required by the federal government to provide services to the people in exchange for the government allowing networks to make money off of the airwaves. See, the airwaves are ours. They're like another one of our natural resources, the airwaves, and the ability to use the airwaves to send your signal to everyone's house is something that we have to be okay with. And that's where the FCC came in. And that's where, you cannot violate the public's trust with profanity on the airwaves. So that whole thing. But networks were originally required to do news as a service to the people so that we could stay, up on stuff, so that we weren't just walking around, like that. And for the first 30 years of news in broadcasting, it was legit. It was legit. It was, they gave you real news. It wasn't, here's my opinion, and I show opinions because people enjoy my hot takes. And when you enjoy my hot takes, you'll sit through the MyPillow commercials. That's where we are now. But back then it was just, here's the news and this is what's happening. And people were left to their own devices to process whatever information they were given. Typical, it was without spin. It was without any kind of agenda. It was just real news. And so that was one of the things that took down Senator Joe McCarthy. Senator Joe McCarthy was a senator from Wisconsin who decided that he was going to be the communist catcher. He was going to be that guy. And he created, it was just a terrible period where for political gain, only for political gain. He was like the first. Now we see it all the time. Now everybody in politics does everything for political gain. And there's a couple of, not because they actually believe it, but because they think the dummies will love this stuff. And so they, and now we've gotten to the point where we actually have legit dummies who are politicians now. So who knows better how to feed the dummies than actual dummies themselves? Politicians used to be guys who, had educations, and they weren't ever good. Politicians were always be wary of anybody who is looking to be in charge. That's a hard and fast rule that I follow. All right, we're going to need a leader here. I'll do it. The first person who says I'll do, always go with like the person who doesn't want to do it, but everybody, there's a consensus that he'd be the best. When choosing a leader out of a pack, that's how you do it. Never the guy who wants it. Or the gal. Never the person who wants it. Don't. They're not going to be good. They just want the power. And See It Now, tonight, or today, on this day in 1954, aired, and it basically was Edward R. Murrow taking down Senator Joe McCarthy in the entire country after Joe McCarthy was exposed by Edward R. Murrow on See It Now. Fred Friendly should get some credit on this too. Fred Friendly was the executive producer and creator. He was the guy that really pushed Murrow to just ask him all the tough questions. Let's see how McCarthy handles the tough questions. He didn't handle them well, and that's pretty much why Senator Joe McCarthy is a bad word in American politics. Although I have to tell you, there are people today who are way worse than him. So, on this day in 1954. On this day in 1959, the Barbie doll makes its debut at the American International Toy Fair in New York City. The Barbie doll. That's why it's Barbie Doll Day, or Happy Barbie Day. What's our take on Barbie dolls? They are an unrealistic example of the female form. Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's not, Barbie's got a smoking body. I mean, if Barbie was real, she got big boobs, she's got tiny hips, she's got long legs. Yeah, they ain't really. But is the Barbie doll? Can you argue? Is that aspirational? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, little girl, be 6 foot tall with blonde hair and huge natural boobs. I guess that's not real. That's probably not. But it's a doll. G.I. Joe was kind of normal, wasn't he? I mean, he had like 0% body fat and he was like totally ripped and had a 6-pack. But was G.I. Joe like as insanely outside the norm as Barbie was? I'll tell you this, the person who created the Barbie doll was not a gay man. That was the guy who, you got to make a doll for little girls. Oh, I got some ideas. That guy definitely made, it's like a real life weird science situation where he's like, make the boobs bigger, make the hips smaller, long flowing hair. I like long legs, make the legs longer. So happy Barbie Day. It was on this day in 1959. The Barbie doll was first unveiled. In 1976, this is why I say this is not a day to celebrate. This is we're going to delve into this one. On this day in 1976, the Cavaliers cable car crash. Ooh, okay. So anybody who knows me knows that I don't get up on stupid things that are high up in the air, suspended on a wire. I ain't going skiing because I ain't getting on no ski lift. They don't seem, and I sure as hell ain't going skiing like up in the Alps or anything like that. And that's where this happened. The Cavaliers cable car crash is the deadliest cable car crash in history. On March 9th, 1976, the steel supporting cable broke as a fully loaded cable car was descending from Mount Cermis near the Italian ski resort of Cavaliers in the Dolomites. The cause of the disaster was an overlap of the carrier cable with the support cable near the first pylon, which resulted, I don't know, it just snapped. It broke. So these people, they're all packed into this thing. They're having the greatest ski vacation of their life. And then suddenly, dead. They're all dead. They all died. And here's the thing. Okay, so there was only supposed to be, what is the number? Where's the size? I don't know. There was like 4 more people in the cable car than needed to be. Like you can only have there can only be 40 people or whatever. Yeah, yes, that is exactly right. There can only be 40 people in the cable car at a time with a weight limit of this much. But there was 44 people in it. And the reason they put 44 people in it, because it was like a whole bunch of kids. Oh, it gets worse. That's right. It was a whole bunch of kids. 43 people died when the cable car crashed into the mountainside from a big high up height. Really? Are you going scientific with that? Yeah, high up height. It was a high up height. One kid survived, a 14-year-old girl, and she survived. Alessandria Piovenza. She survived with very few injuries. She actually walked away from it. Well, she didn't walk away, but she went to the hospital. But she was okay. She had no lifelong injuries. She was at the she was at the farthest point of the car, and the bodies of everyone else broke her impact on the side of the mountain. Oof. Also, it should be noted that many of the people didn't die from the actual fall. They died from suffocation. They were suffocated under them. Massive people that were all on top of them. 1976. And that is why I will never ride one of those things ever. I'm just not going to do it. Oh, what are you afraid? My kid. Oh, my kid. My kid is on spring break with his mom. They went on a little spring break, like 4-day trip. They're down in Florida. My kid calls me yesterday. I went parasailing. And I'm like, what? I'm like, hell. I went parasailing. It was awesome. His mom's a daredevil. His mom's not afraid of anything. And obviously parasailing is safe. People do it. I'm like, I would never do that. He's like, yeah, well, I want to jump out of an airplane and you're going with me. I'm like, no, we are not jumping out of an, I am never going to jump out of an airplane. If I was going to jump out of an airplane, it would have been before 25. And I am not jumping out of an airplane. I'm not going parasailing. He loved it. He's like, oh, it was so much fun. I can't wait to do it again. All right. Well, here's the thing. Any trips that you and I go on, they're not going to include a beach. Your mom is a beach lady. Your mom can take you to the beaches. If you're going to turn into a guy that likes the beach, it'll be because of that influence, not me. I'm taking you to Cleveland. We're going to places where we can get a steak dinner and a nice hotel and maybe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm taking you to San Francisco. I'll take them to like different kinds of places on vacation. I ain't taking them to no beach. We ain't going to no beach. We ain't going to no mountain. We ain't going to ever put ourselves in a situation where it's us versus the elements. Nope. It'll just be trip. But he went parasailing. He was very, very excited by that. All right, so that's it. There's really not a whole lot of stuff happening in history. McCarthyism, the Barbie doll, and then the Cavaliers cable car crash. There were a bunch of plane crashes too, but we don't do that anymore. 2 planes collided over Ohio on this day. Yeah. We don't need to talk about this. Let's see here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got one more for you. On this day in 1997, the notorious B.I.G. is murdered in Los Angeles after attending the Soul Train Music Awards. He's gunned down, leaving an after party at the Peterson Automotive Museum. His murder remains unsolved. Yeah. Biggie died on this day in 1997. So over the years, I've seen a whole bunch. There's been a whole bunch of documentaries and stuff. Tupac and Biggie, are there murders? Connected? And all this kind of. I don't know. I've seen a number of documentaries. I've seen a number of breakdowns. I don't know what the hell's going on there. How did they not catch the guy? How'd they not catch the person who killed Tupac? How'd they not catch the person how is this? Isn't there like 40 hours of American television about, crime scene forensics and how nobody can get away with anything? And yet 2 extraordinarily high profile murders that occurred in modern American policing, and we have no idea. I don't know. I guess yesterday was the Malaysian airplane disappeared. We have no idea of that. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know. I always say, you're never gonna murder. Don't murder anybody. You're gonna get caught. There's no way they're gonna. Well, apparently not. All right, let's do some birthdays. Born on this day in 1936, Mickey Gilley, American singer, songwriter, and pianist. Is Gilley still a thing here in Dallas? Is there still Gilleys? Do we still have Gilleys here in Dallas? I don't remember. I don't know if it's still here. I don't know. I only went once. I only went there once, and I don't know. Maybe most of you only went there once too, if at all. So maybe it's not still here. Mickey Gilley is interesting. Mickey Gilley is first cousins. Like Mickey Gilley ran around as kids with his first cousin, Jimmy Swaggart, the disgraced, I have sinned against you, the fraudulent Christian preacher guy who got caught with prostitutes. I have sinned against Jimmy Swaggart. So Mickey Gilley, Jimmy Swaggart, and Jerry Lee Lewis. They were all first cousins. They all grew up together. Like, you imagine, I don't have any first cousins, but imagine like that I know of. Imagine like you just like kids. You're just three kids, and you're from like you're peeing in an outhouse in the middle of the night. Your family eat dirt cakes, for breakfast. There's just like nothing. Dirt cakes. Did you just make that up? Yeah. You come from nothing, squalor, and then like the three cousin boys who are all like around the same age, they all like become famous and like super well. That's so weird to me. Jimmy Swaggart, Mickey Gilley, and Jerry Lee Lewis were all first cousins, and they all grew up together. Who's the most famous? Well, Jerry Lee Lewis, right? Jerry Lee Lewis is probably the most famous. Then who? Then is Mickey Gilley more famous than Jimmy Swaggart? I mean, Jimmy Swaggart was famous in like the God circles, and then he became, better known for his "I've sinned against you" when he was revealed that he likes prostitutes a whole lot. I don't know. All right, there you go. Happy birthday, Mickey Gilley. I'm sure you guys have debated this. Oh, I do. Yeah, my mom's in the chat room. I do. I have two first cousins, but it's not like I grew up with. They're like much younger. I forgot about that. That's nice. That's nice. You forgot. I do. I have two little first cousins. They're not little anymore. One's not going into it. All right. Also born on this day. Happy birthday, Dennis Rader, the BTK Strangler. Remember that guy? That guy was like he was a serial killer from Kansas City. I saw a movie about him once, not too long ago. I still don't know the details. Anyway, happy birthday, Dennis Rader. Enjoy hell when you... Is he alive? Wait a second. I don't know if he's alive. Did they kill him yet? He's only been in prison like 15 years, so he's probably got another 30 years before we put him down. Dennis Lynn Rader is an American serial killer known as BTK, an abbreviation he gave himself for bind, torture, kill. Between 1974 and 91, Rader killed 10 people in Wichita and Park City, Kansas, and sent taunting letters to police and newspapers describing the details of his crimes. After a decade-long hiatus, Rader resumed sending letters in 2004, leading to his 2005 arrest and subsequent guilty plea. He is serving 10 consecutive life sentences at El Dorado. Okay, so he didn't even get the death penalty. All right. Well, it sounds like he got away with it. And then in 2004, he was like, I'm coming out of retirement. I'm going to get back into the game. Happy birthday, Dennis Rader. Happy birthday, Brian Bosworth. It's the Boz's birthday. Brian Bosworth is a guy who I absolutely despised when he was known as the Boz, and now I kind of like him. I saw an interview with him not too long ago, and I was like, I kind of like that guy. He got it. He understood. Brian Bosworth understood that he wasn't nearly as good as the media wanted to make him out to be. Like, he was mad. He's going to be the greatest linebacker in the history. Oh, he's a bad man. And he just kind of went, okay, I'm going to lean into this because there's going to be opportunities for me. He was an actor. He did a couple of movies, like tough guy movies. Most famous, though, from Monday Night Football, when Bo Jackson was playing with the LA Raiders at the time. Yeah, the LA Raiders. And Brian Bosworth was a Seattle Seahawks linebacker. And they were the two like young players in the league that were supposed to be, so good. Bo Jackson, the best offensive player in the league. Brian Bosworth, he's good, the scariest linebacker in the league. And it was, they had been, because Bo Jackson didn't talk crap, because Bo Jackson was a legit stud. Whereas Brian Bosworth, he had to promote himself, and he was always talking crap. It was a Monday Night Football game, and Brian Bosworth was just talking. So Bo ain't going to dare run to me. He ain't going to dare run to my side. I'm going to show Bo, that whole thing. He was doing that whole bit. And it was like a first and goal or whatever. And it came down to Bo Jackson versus Brian Bosworth, and Bo Jackson blew up Brian Bosworth. Brian Bosworth tried to stop Bo Jackson one-on-one, and Bo Jackson didn't put a move on him. He didn't try and deke him. Bo Jackson put his shoulder down and just went, "Take me down, big boy." And Brian Bosworth couldn't. Brian Bosworth got blown up. He got knocked like 5 yards back. So there you go. That was that. Brian Bosworth, he did do something back then that I loved. The Denver, this was back when Seattle was still in the AFC. And I still forget. I still forget that Seattle isn't in the AFC. That's why yesterday when the Russell Wilson trade came down, I was like, wow, how would they trade that in the division? And I was like, wait a second. No, Seattle switched. Seattle's now in the NFC. But back in the day, Seattle and Denver were like big rivals. They hated each other. And Brian Bosworth was going into Mile High Stadium in Denver, and the Denver fans hated Bosworth because I'm gonna tear Elway's head off, that whole thing. Because Brian Bosworth was a talker, and the fans in Denver just despised Brian Bosworth. So you know what Brian Bosworth did? This is why I kind of like him. This is why I like him. Brian Bosworth hired a bunch of people in Denver to sell Brian Bosworth Sucks t-shirts in the parking lot before the game to Denver fans. And he sold like thousands of them in the whole stadium. Everyone's like, Brian Bosworth sucks. They're all wearing these because he knew two things. He knew, one, if he could get the entire stadium wearing these shirts, that it would be really good for his brand, that the TV would be talking about it. And, oh, look how frightened they are of Brian Bosworth. And then he made like a crap ton of money off of it. So, I don't know. That's pretty smart. He's like, you want to wear your Brian Bosworth suck shirt? Good. Yeah, that money's all going to Brian Bosworth. So go ahead. You wear that shirt. Happy birthday, Boz. Born on this day in 1969, Kimberly Guilfoyle. She is soon to be Mrs. Don Jr. Blech. Blech. She's an interesting woman. She is a woman who either has completely changed or she's just an opportunist who has zero ideology about how she sees the world. She's either someone who just sees an opportunity and goes, I'm going to be that now, or she's just completely changed. She's had a complete and total heartfelt change. Because Kimberly Guilfoyle used to be married to Gavin Newsom, the liberal. He's like the poster boy for liberal politics. He's the governor of California. He was the mayor of San Francisco. He's now the governor of California. And he's very left and he's very progressive. And he's like the target for all of the right. Well, one of them anyway, because they're afraid of him because he's good looking and he's popular and all that stuff. But Kimberly Guilfoyle used to be married to that. And now she's getting married to Don Jr.? It's like, wait a second. What? How does that work? How are you comfortable hanging out, falling in love with, and admiring the poster boy for the progressive future of politics, and then just a few years later, you're with Don Jr.? I don't get it. By the way, Kimberly needs to know, if she's thinking that she's going to get Trump money, one, there's not nearly as much Trump money as people are out there pretending there is. And two, Don Jr. ain't getting a dime. Ivanka's getting it all. Come on. You want to get into like a gay marriage with Ivanka if you want to be, riding whatever Trump money there is. It's not nearly as much as they say. All right. Happy birthday, Kimberly Guilfoyle, born on this day in 1969. Happy birthday, Emmanuel Lewis, born on this day in 1971. Webster, that's funny. That kid got a career because Gary Coleman was famous. That's it. NBC had this huge hit with Different Strokes, where they had a small, sickly. Gary Coleman was sickly. He had like kidney disease, and there was, so that's why he wouldn't grow, so he would stay young forever. Kind of oversimplifying it, aren't you? Yeah, but that's That's why he had such difficulty being an adult actor, because, Gary Coleman was NBC, huge hit, Different Strokes. Well, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. Very, very big hit. Big hit. And then the guy I was telling you about earlier who ruined news, Fred Silverman at ABC, he said, hey, I got to get me one of them. And they went and they got Emmanuel Lewis, who was another adorable little black kid who had like a kidney disease that was going to make him stay young. Like, look at that Gary Coleman. That's lightning in a bottle. I got to get me one of them. And they went out and got Emmanuel Lewis. Gary Coleman is dead. Is Emmanuel Lewis dead? Please be alive. Please be alive. He's alive. Hooray. Hooray. But the picture they show for him here on Wikipedia, it's still like 10-year-old. He's 51 years old today. Still like 10-year-old Emmanuel. What does Emmanuel Lewis look like now? Ooh, don't you guys want to know? Oh, God, I totally want to know. Okay. Oh, man. All right. All right. We're going to see Emmanuel Lewis today. It's, I got to get me one of those. It's, yeah. He didn't age. He's 51 years old. There you go. Let's take a look at Emmanuel Lewis today, shall we? There was Emmanuel Lewis. All right, let's bring that picture up. There he is. This is Emmanuel Lewis. It says here 2021, so just a year ago. Bam! There he is. Yeah. Yeah, there he is. He's I don't know. He's not getting work anymore either, so it's not like all right, let's learn about Emmanuel Lewis. Let's see like what is he, what's his deal? What did he have? Career, personal life. Okay. Lewis was born in Brooklyn, New York, and graduated from Millwood High School in 1989. He earned a bachelor's degree from Clark Atlantic University in 97. He would only attend the fall semester so he could be able to continue his career in the winter, spring, and summer. Lewis is a practitioner of Taekwondo. His height has only changed 6 inches since his childhood appearances in Webster, making him relatively short. He has no known. Oh, okay. So he doesn't have a disease. He has no known condition that would explain his height. He is a 3-time winner of the People's Choice Award and twice won a Clio. What did he do? Well, let's look at his film. What has he done? He did a Moesha in 98. Yeah. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with him. I thought for sure he had the same thing that like Gary Coleman had. There's nothing wrong with him. Well, there's something wrong with him. I mean, there's something. Maybe they're just not making it public. I don't know. There's something. No known, according to Wikipedia, no known condition. All right. Well, that's okay. That's okay, Emmanuel. That's okay. You're fine. Hopefully you saved your money and everything's good. Hung out with Michael Jackson. Emmanuel Lewis knows, but we were talking last night with Parker. Parker's like, Michael Jackson molested kids. And I'm like, I don't know that to be true. I think it's a very good possibility. Michael Jackson's just kind of a weird guy, and he had a stunted childhood, and he enjoyed hanging around with, kids because Michael Jackson was weird. I mean, he's weird. Does that immediately mean weird like a pedophile? I don't know. I don't know. Emmanuel Lewis does, though. Happy birthday, Emmanuel Lewis. Happy birthday also to Antonio Bryant. He was in the news yesterday. Him and Kanye, they want to buy the Denver Broncos. Ain't no way anyone's even going to take a meeting with them on that. Antonio Bryant. Wait a second. This is Antonio Bryant. This is not Antonio. Wait a second. Hold on. I'm wrong here. Yeah, it's 1981. What am I thinking? Antonio Brown ain't. Okay, Antonio Bryant. There you go. All right. Yeah. Cowboys picked him second in the 2002 NFL draft. He played professionally for the Cleveland Browns, San Francisco 49ers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, never mind. Antonio Bryant, not Antonio Brown. Skip that. 81 should have been the tip-off for me that Antonio Brown was not born in 1981. Born on this day in 1987, Bow Wow, formerly known as Little Bow Wow, American rapper and actor. Let's do some deaths. Let's see here. Dead on this day in 1996, George Burns. George Burns. I tried to make my son watch Oh God. It came up. It came up. It wasn't like I sought it out, but I remember we're flipping around. We're trying to see if there's anything to watch. And it's like, oh, look at this. We got Oh God. And I'm like, man, I haven't seen Oh God since I was probably my kid's age. And I remember liking it. I go, hey, you want to watch Oh God? And his response was, really? Really? So now we're doing religious stuff? And I go, it's not a religious movie. I mean, I guess it is kinda, but it was like, really? What? Now suddenly? Like, well, I didn't mean it like, Oh God is, I guess it's, I don't. Oh God was funny. George Burns played God. John Denver played a dude who knew God. Hijinks ensued. It was a good movie. And also Notorious B.I.G. died today. We already mentioned that. Died on this day in 1997. American rapper, songwriter, and actor. Again, still, we don't know. We have no idea what the hell happened there. What is that about? All right, let's get into some of the headlines, some of the things that are trending today. Gas prices have now hit an all-time high. National average is $4.25 a gallon. Well, I don't know what to do about that. All I know is that that's not a good thing for an election year. That's not a good thing for midterms. Certainly is not a good thing during a midterm year for the party that is precariously in the majority. It's not going to be good. Not going to be good. So there you go. There you go. Whole bunch of crazy stuff coming because gas prices are high. Also, Russia, Mariupol is trending. Did you see this? This is terrible. This is the war crimes. We're just stacking war crimes for Putin. A children's hospital, a children's and a maternity hospital. That's what they were for. They were for people having babies and sick babies. Was bombed into oblivion. There are children, as we speak, being dug out of the rubble. The pictures coming from Mariupol are tragic at best. The issue here is that this particular hospital is not within. They said 15 kilometers. Miles. It is not a target. It's not like they went, yeah, we were aiming at the military base that's half a mile away and we just got our calculations off. At that point you go, well, okay, maybe you shouldn't put a hospital next to a target and that kind of thing. If you're going to build a military base, make sure it's far away from hospitals because you don't want this kind of situation. But it's nowhere near. It is apparently nowhere near any possible strategic targets for the Russian military. And it was bombed into oblivion to the point where they're like, they were aiming at this thing. This wasn't just like one missile went astray. They said, hey, let's blow up the sick kids hospital and let's see if that moves the needle in our favor. So that happened. Children's hospital completely destroyed by Russian bombs in Mariupol. And now the world is outraged. But see, here's the problem with the world being outraged. We are naturally geared towards being outraged over everything. So when something legitimate happens that we truly are outraged over, it's the boy who cried wolf thing. People are like, oh, what are we outraged about today? Oh, a bombing of a children's hospital? Okay, yeah, that one's really big. But I was outraged yesterday because, something stupid. I was outraged yesterday because Kermit the Frog likes gay people. Apparently in Sesame Street, Kermit the Frog has a gay friend. And that had me really outraged yesterday. So today when I hear about the children's hospital being bombed into I'm a little bit tapped out on outrage for this week. That's our problem. We have no way to really gauge. Children's hospital completely destroyed by Russian bombs in Mariupol. Mariupol is a city in the south southeast of Ukraine. A children's hospital in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol has been destroyed by Russian airstrikes. The Russian occupying forces have dropped several bombs on the children's hospital. The destruction is colossal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said there were children in the wreckage. He tweeted, Mariupol, direct strike of Russian troops at the maternity hospital. People and children are buried under the wreckage. Atrocity. How much longer will the world be an accomplice ignoring terror? Close the sky right now. Stop the killings. You have power, but you seem to be losing humanity, he said. The report could not immediately be verified. Russia has denied targeting civilians in its assaults. It's been since verified, since this story was published. Ukraine says continued Russian shelling is still preventing residents from leaving the besieged city. See, the Russians are like, okay, fine, we'll open corridor. And they're allowing like these corridors for masses of humanity, civilians, to just get out of the city because they're like, we're going to bomb the city. Well, that was French. I don't know what that was. We're going to bomb the city. And they're like, okay, we need to get out. And they're like, okay, you can go this way, go out this way. And like all of these people are going out one way and they're like, bomb the exit. And then they just start killing they're frustrated. Russia is frustrated that somebody actually stood up to them and is fighting back. And Putin is going crazier and crazier. And he's letting his generals just do whatever it takes. I'm so burned out on this story. The story is so terrible. All right, so that's why Mariupol Hospital in Russia are all trending. Here's something to be outraged about. Don't say gay. Don't say gay. We're that's the whole Florida legislation that's in their state legislature. Don't say gay passed. I got some hot takes on this. It's not don't say gay. Don't say gay. See, what happens is when legislation is crafted and there is an opposition to the legislation, the opposition comes up with a title for it that they put out to the media, and it becomes what it's known for. And when the opposition creates a title, it's to make it sound really bad, right? Remember death panels? Remember that was death. They're going to have death panel. That was like about billionaires not having to pay taxes and being able to give all of them. No, that wasn't death. Anyway, death tax. That's the one. Death tax. There's a death tax now. When you die, they're going to tax you for dying. That's what the liberals want. See, it wasn't a death tax. What it was if a billionaire wants to give, $100 billion to his dipshit son, that son needs to pay taxes on that money. That's what it was about. And that makes sense. That's normal. Okay, that sounds normal to most people, but it's a death tax, though. That's not all right. Don't get bogged down in what it actually is. It's a death tax. The liberals want to tax you when you die. Yes, you person who worked in the grocery store for the last 50 years of your life, and you want to leave $10,000 in savings to your grandkids, you're going to be taxed on. No, that's not what it is at all. So that's kind of what we're seeing here with this don't say gay thing. Like, don't say gay. What? You can't say gay in Florida or else you go to jail? Well, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. How am I supposed to tell my gay son that I love him if I can't say, gay son, I love you, without the cops knocking down the door and taking me to... It's not don't say gay. That's not what it is. You can say gay. What you can't do is you can't have any curriculum in kindergarten through third grade that addresses the topic of homosexuality. Now, that's what it is. These people in Florida, these legislators, they're the far right ones, and this is like one of their things that they can tell their people. Your 7-year-olds are being brainwashed in public schools to think it's cool to be gay. That's what they're saying at the pancake breakfast. So I've got this bill that says that they can't be learning about that in school. And what it really is that there just can't be any approved public school curriculum that has an actual course study for 5-year-olds about being gay, which I don't think exists anyway, but whatever. They can then go back to their pancake breakfasts in the Panhandle and go, boy, we really stuck it to them gays, didn't we? And people would be like, yay, we don't read the paper, so we don't really know what this is about, but he's telling us that he stuck it to them gays. So it's essentially feckless, stupid law, but the left, don't say gay. This is about not being able to say gay. And it's really not. It's not. Stop it. Let them have this one. They can have this one. They can have this one. Personally, I'm fine with my 6-year-old not having. I want my 6-year-old to learn colors. I want my 6-year-old to learn how to count to 100. I want my 6-year-old to be able to read and recognize letters. I don't know that kindergarten through 3rd grade, it's really important to start having deep conversations about sexual orientation in society. That's not something that they're going to really take to. Here's the other thing it's not about. It's not about if you have a gay parent that your teacher is now going to be allowed to go, you're bad. And I want you to draw a picture of your family. Oh my God, look at this one. He drew 2 daddies. He's going to school jail. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. That is what some people on the left are saying it's going to be, but it's not. It's just about standardized curriculum. It's about when the teacher gets the stuff, what they got to teach a 7-year-old, there is not going to be anything in there that talks about homosexuality, which is fine. There shouldn't be anything in there that talks about any kind of sexuality. We're talking about kindergarten through 3rd grade. I am a central left-leaning progressive, okay? I'm just trying to tamp down some of this moronic outrage. This is what I was talking about earlier. There are sick kids being pulled out of rubble because the Russians dropped bombs on a hospital in Mariupol. That deserves our outrage, not some twisted, agendized interpretation of a stupid thing. It's a stupid thing. Let them have their stupid thing. Don't fight every battle. Tallahassee, Florida, the chants of dozens of students from across Florida could be heard through the walls of the Senate chamber on Monday as lawmakers debated a contentious proposal to bar lessons about sexual orientation and gender identity from kindergarten to 3rd grade. We say gay. We say gay. We say gay. A bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds said. These weren't kindergartners gathering outside the legislature going, this was all high school and college kids. This is all high school and college. It doesn't affect them at all. This isn't about them. This isn't about high school. This is about kindergarten through 3rd grade. What is that? 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds? A day later, an emotionally divided Senate in Florida voted 22-17 to pass the measure dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by opponents of the bill. They dubbed it that. It's called the Parental Rights and Education Bill by the people who authored it. 2 Republican senators, Jeff Brandeis and Jennifer Bradley, voted against the measure with Democrats. The proposal now leads to the governor's desk as a part of a broader push by Republicans to prioritize parents in the state's education. Democrats say it will harm LGBTQ students. How? I don't understand how. I don't understand why the issue of LGBTQ, which is a very important issue in modern society, and I think that there is a right place and a right time for young minds to begin to grapple with this, but it isn't kindergarten through 3rd grade. This is not. Here's a quote now. Says livid 18-year-old Elizabeth Claimer, who isn't going to be affected by this at all. It's upsetting that we are failing younger kids, said Elizabeth Clamer, 18, a senior at Leon County High School who attended the student-led protest in Tallahassee, along with dozens of teens from other parts of the state, including Tampa and Miami-Dade. She was not optimistic that Republican lawmakers would be swayed by their protest. This is a stupid thing that stupid Republicans in the stupid state of Florida came up with. We don't need to fight it. Let them have it. You know what? If you just ignored it, if this whole thing was just ignored and it just was allowed to happen where you can't have deep, in-depth sociological discussions with kindergartners about LGBTQ issues, no one would have noticed, wouldn't have paid attention. But you got to fight every battle. Every battle's got to be. You don't got to fight every battle. You know what? You fight every battle, you lose every battle because you depleted your resources. And now the big battles, when they come, you can't stop it from happening. It's upsetting that we're failing younger kids. Oh, is it really upsetting? Are you shook, Elizabeth? Are you shook? Can you just not, Elizabeth? Is this really hard for you at 18? If we were talking about high school kids, if there was we're going to now pass a rule where high school kids cannot have any classroom discussions about LGBT, that's wrong. That's wrong. These are young adults. These are young minds. If you're even talking about puberty-aged kids, right? I would have a problem with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids not being able to have questions answered or learn about different aspects of who they may be turning into or are. That's wrong. Kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. These kids are still playing with dolls and trucks. They're learning their colors. They're learning how to read. They're taking naps. I don't get it. Republican lawmakers say critics are mischaracterizing what the bill would do. Oh, God, look at me agreeing with a Florida Republican lawmaker. They are. And it wasn't helped. Saturday Night Live over the weekend, Kate McKinnon got on Weekend Update. And, Kate McKinnon, I like her. She's a talented woman. She's fine. She's a lesbian. I like her. She's great. She got up on Weekend Update and totally mischaracterized it too. She just totally ran with the wrong narrative, but it was funny. And Saturday Night Live is a comedy show. I know it's a comedy show, but I don't. The Daily Show is a comedy show too, and the Daily Show crafted a lot of people's opinions through the use of comedy and fact. And it's upsetting. They say that student-led discussions in the classroom that touch on sexual orientation or gender identity are allowed. No, I don't think that should happen. They're saying that's what Republicans are saying. It's fine if kindergartners through 3rd grade want to have discussions on sexual orientation or gender identity. No 5-year-old is having that's not happening. And even if it did, apparently the Republicans are going, that's allowed, that's fine. Here's an example the Republican authors of the bill say. For example, a student could bring up their LGBTQ parents in response to an assignment about their family tree. What's not allowed are K through 3 lesson plans explicitly based on those themes, which Republican backers noted is currently the practice in the state. So what they're saying is it doesn't exist currently because what weirdo would think that kindergartners through 3rd graders need to learn about this stuff? So it doesn't exist, but if it should exist, there's now a law. So it's not like anything's being changed because you don't teach 6-year-olds these things, not because it's evil to poison their minds. No, it's because they don't care. It's because it's too big a concept for a child's mind. Now, it's not too big a concept for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or a 12-year-old. They can start a 9-year-old. A 9-year-old might notice that, Uncle Bob he's got an Uncle Bob and an Uncle Stan. That's something. But a 4 or 5, 6-year-old, they're just like, that's just Uncle Bob and Uncle Stan. They don't really process because there's no thought about sexuality or... A Republican tried to soften Florida's Don't Say Gay bill that didn't work out. Okay. No, you can't soften it because we don't. Compromise is for losers. Schools are also barred from teaching these subjects hold on, but the State's Department of Education would decide what constitutes an age of developmentally inappropriate lessons if the bill becomes law. Anyway, all right, and then there's a whole bunch more here. Senator, this guy, he's the guy. This is the guy who sponsored it. Senator Dennis Baxley, Republican of Ocala, the bill's sponsor, an idiot who started this whole mess, also said the bill would address social engineering in the classroom that he said could be leading to an increasing number of children coming out as gay or transgendered in school. And making them gay. See, this is all about how we're making kids gay. See, it's just so stupid. Senator Baxley, could you be made gay? Like, do you think that there's any way that you could have been turned into gay? You can't be made gay. You can't be made gay. You either are gay or you're not gay. For men, I don't know, maybe a little different for women, but for men, it is about wiring and what triggers blood flow to a certain part of the body that then makes it possible to have intercourse, right? You can't just make somebody. You can't just rewire the way you naturally get an erection because of something that you learned in second. That's not how it works. And anybody who thinks that is how it works, you're stupid. You're dumb. All right. So there you go. Don't say gay. Okay, here. You know what? I was afraid that my buddy Tom would be involved in this because he's a very smart school teacher. But I was worried that he would have a problem. Tom says, I have an 8-year-old third grader. He is mature enough to be in these discussions because his peers are talking about sexuality. There are lots of thoughts about sexuality with third graders. He also says, I'd love to see one lesson plan currently that addresses these themes. They don't exist. Therefore, it's a waste of money to bring this bill up. Yes, it's a total waste of money, and it's a complete waste of time, and it's an even bigger waste of time to be using social capital fighting it. It doesn't exist. We just read a thing. It doesn't exist. There are no lesson plans for 6-year-olds that concern, are you gay? Let's learn about being gay. It's not happening. Later in school, look, if they wanted to do this for middle school kids or high school kids, then we got a problem. Then we got to start marching. Then we got to start saying, hey, you guys suck. But why was it brought up? Again, this entire thing was created so that somebody who's probably up for re-election can show up at his panhandle pancake breakfast and go, I'm the guy sticking it to them gays. That's all. That's the entire reason this was brought up. Yeah, I'm voting for him because he hates gays just like I hate gays. That's what this whole thing is about. It's not about any actual change. If your kid's gay, your kid's going to be gay. That's it. Kid is going to be gay. You didn't do it to him. It's not because of you. It's just because sometimes that happens. All right. What else do we have trending here? Papa John's is trending. Papa John's, the world's worst pizza. Papa John's is trending because they are pulling out of Russia. Personally, my take on Papa John's pizza, they ought to just start opening up all Papa John's locations in the old McDonald's. Make all the Russian people sick. Papa John's pizza is gross. McDonald's pulled out of Russia too. That's another big one. All the McDonald's are now closing. So like Coca-Cola, all kinds of like Kentucky Fried Chicken, all kinds of these places are now closing up. These Western, Murrow-centric sort of fast food joints and restaurants are closing. I was looking at lines. There was a viral video that was going around yesterday that showed a line of people trying to get their last Big Mac in Moscow. It was like, they said there was like 20,000 cars. Like they were going to do like 20,000 people or 20,000. The number 20,000 was thrown out. God. That'll get you to break your diet, huh? Wait a second. I'm on a diet right now, but you're telling me that when I'm done with this diet, I'm not going to be able to go get 2 Big Macs? Diet suspended. I'm going to go wait in line for 7 hours to get a Big Mac because they're not coming back. They'll be back. They'll be back as soon as we drag Putin out of his big palace and beat him to death with hockey sticks in the street. As soon as that happens, McDonald's will be back. You people will be fine. But if you want your McDonald's, you better start gathering on Putin's front lawn. all of you, like 100,000 of you, need to just bum rush his house. And you need to drag him out. It's the only way. Then I can't arrest all of you. Russians, they can't arrest all of you. Seriously, they can't. Just do it. Get it over with. Get your McDonald's back. Get your Netflix back. Get your Coca-Cola back. Get all of that stuff back. All you got to do is murder that guy. That's it. Yes. Are you asking people to murder? Yes, I am. I am asking people of Russia to murder Vladimir Putin. Get in there. You'll be heroes. The guy who actually delivers the death blow, they'll build statues to Stalingrad. They'll rename it Igorgrad if the guy's name is Igor. I'm just saying, you'll be a national hero. The guy that actually applies the death grip to Putin's neck as a bunch of people are beating him to death with hockey sticks. It's the only way you're going to get this stuff back, because this guy has gone off. He's blown up hospitals with sick kids and moms. You got to do something here. All right, so Papa John's is out. Papa John's is out. Prince Harry is trending. This is a fun story. And this absolutely proves something that I have always said about celebrities. So something was trending over the weekend at the Fort Worth rodeo because there was some dude who looked like Prince Harry. It was Prince Harry. Prince Harry. It's no bull. Prince Harry really was watching rodeo in Fort Worth stockyards. How does this prove what I've always said? What I've always said is that celebrities who say that I can't go out. I can't go out in public. Every time I go out in public, people make my life miserable. I am a prisoner. Yeah, you're a prisoner in LA. And, if people know that you live in a certain town, then maybe you're a prisoner, in that town when you go to the 7-Eleven. But, I don't care who you are. If you're Kanye West and I drop you into a general store in the middle of Nebraska, people aren't going to go, it's Kanye West. They're going to go, that dude looks a lot like Kanye West. How crazy is that? Because nobody's going to believe that you're actually going to be there. And that happened with Prince Harry. A lot of people saw Prince Harry at the rodeo in Fort Worth over the weekend. And like, this dude looks like Prince Harry. Look at him. He does, doesn't he? He looks just like, no, dude, he looks more like Carson Wentz. No, he looks like Prince Harry. No, he looks like Sam Darnold. Prince Harry looks like a number of redheads. But it turned out it was. Prince Harry was actually at the rodeo in Fort Worth. And basically people left him alone because, as I say, you wouldn't expect to see Prince Harry just walking around in a cowboy hat, just kind of blending in. Although I don't know if he was necessarily blending in. Sounds like he had people with him. So maybe that was a giveaway. But again, if you're like on Fifth Avenue in New York and you look exactly like Jay-Z, people are going to be, or Beyonce, people are going to be like, oh my God, that looks like, it probably is Beyonce because we're in Tiffany's in New York. Maybe that probably, see, but however, you throw them in like a Publix store in Arkansas, nobody's going to go, that girl at the meat counter in the Publix store in Fart Stink, Arkansas, boy, does she look like, that's how it works. You don't think, I see famous people all the time. I don't know if they're really, I see people that go, you go to the Tom Thumb and it's like, hey, that guy looks like Kevin Spacey. I don't think it's Kevin Spacey, but it could be. It could be Kevin Spacey. He can be places, I just don't associate him with being there. Hey, that guy filling up gas next to me at the racetrack, he looked just like Tom Hanks. It might be Tom Hanks. You just refuse to allow yourself to believe that it's him, so you immediately jump to that guy looks like, but it could be. March 8th, was Prince Harry really in Fort Worth over the weekend? Yep, he sure was, and he was doing just about the most Fort Worth thing possible. The Duke of Sussex, 37, was spotted at Cowtown Coliseum in the Stockyards on Saturday. An image of Prince Harry originally began circulating on Instagram. Let's see here, blah, blah, blah. Where was Prince Harry Saturday night? Ooh, just hanging out behind the bucking chutes at the Stockyards. Love it. Thanks for the visit, wrote publicist for the Stockyards. Entertainment magazine People reported that Prince Harry took in the bull riding competition and got a full VIP tour of the facility, which was built in 1908. Corey Melton, a former bull rider and trainer for his Melton Bull Company, also spotted the image with the message, Prince Harry hanging out at the rodeo this week. We got a lot of rodeo royalty, but this is the first prince I've ever seen. No word yet on whether he was spotted at Joe T. Garcia's. Ha 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 ha. But he could have. Prince Harry could have gone to Joe T. Garcia's after the rodeo. Now, if Prince Harry shows up at Joe T. Garcia's with a phalanx of Israeli commandos and all of that stuff, don't talk to me, he's wearing his hat down, then people are going to go, wow, that's quite a commotion. That guy looks like Prince Harry. He's got like 30 bodyguards, and the owners of the restaurant seem to be cordoning off an entire wing for him. I'm going to put one and one and one together. I'm going to come up with 3, and that is Prince Harry. Prince Harry jumps out of a rental car and walks into Joe T. Garcia's and waits in line for his. And nobody's going to be like, that's Prince Harry. They're going to be like, oh, that guy looks like Prince Harry. Anyone ever tell you look like Prince Harry? And then he wouldn't be able to answer because the British accent, people will go, whoa, wait a second. But you know what I'm saying? Celebrities can blend in. They can. They really can. They don't want to, because the minute a celebrity starts to be able to blend in, they're not famous anymore. That's their whole thing. I'm a prisoner. It's the worst. I just want to be able to go to a small town Tasty Freeze and get an ice cream on a Saturday night. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want that. You want to be getting bottle service in the VIP room next to people who are more famous than you, because fame is a drug, you weirdo. You don't want to be anonymous. Stop it. You're killing me. Ryan Coogler, director Ryan Coogler is trending today. This is a crazy story, boy. I'll tell you. Ryan Coogler, Black Panther. Didn't he also do the Black Panther movie? No, well, sorry. Yes, he did do the Black Panther. All right, never mind. Just shut up. He's done a bunch of movies. Ryan Coogler is one of the hottest young directors in Hollywood. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler was briefly detained by police in Atlanta in January after he was mistaken for a bank robber at a Bank of America. This is such a crazy story. Okay. The director confirmed the incident to Variety, quoting him now. This situation should never have happened, he said. However, Bank of America worked with me and addressed it to my satisfaction, and we've moved on. Good for you. Good for you, Cougs. Coogler was detained and handcuffed after he went to Bank of America to make a transaction on January 7th. According to the Atlanta police, the 35-year-old director, who was wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a COVID mask while being black, went to the counter and handed the bank teller a withdrawal slip with a note written on the back. Okay, so this is where, who writes a note? Well, I guess it makes sense, though. It does make sense. So he has a deposit slip, and then he wrote a note on the back of the deposit slip, and he handed it to the teller. And he's got a mask on, and he's got sunglasses and a hat pulled down over his head. Ryan Coogler doesn't have to do that. Ryan Coogler does not have to worry about being mobbed at a Bank of America in Atlanta. You're Ryan Coogler. Ryan Gosling doesn't even have to worry about that. Based on what I just said about celebrities, you can blend in. You don't have to. It makes you more conspicuous when you do that. Why is that person trying not to be seen? So he walks in. He fills out a deposit slip, and then he writes a handwritten note on the back. The director confirmed the incident, walked in and addressed the rest of it. Okay. Coogler was detained and handcuffed after he went to the Bank of America to make a transaction. According to the Atlanta police report, the 35-year-old director, who was wearing a hat, sunglasses, and COVID face mask, went to the counter and handed the bank teller a withdrawal slip with a note written on the back that reportedly read, "I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my checking account. Please do the money count somewhere else, as I like to be discreet." Okay, this makes sense. I've never been in a position where I could just walk into a bank and say, "Give me $12K cash, stat." But I suppose if this is the kind of thing that you do, if you have that kind of money, you might want to
be very discreet about it. You don't want, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, 8,000, 100, 2,000. You don't want to be doing that, because then there's like a whole bunch of people going, hey, man, my man's walking out of here with 12K. I should probably, you know what I mean? It makes total sense. So again, he handed a withdrawal slip with a note. I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my checking account. Please do the money count somewhere else because I like to be discreet. Makes total sense. Totally understand that. The teller, however, because they're stupid, misinterpreted the situation as an attempted robbery when the amount of the transaction exceeded $10,000 and triggered an alert notification from Coogler's bank account. The teller then informed her boss that she suspected it was a robbery attempt, and together they called the police. 4 Atlanta PD officers arrived at the scene. They detained 2 of Coogler's colleagues who were waiting for him outside the bank in a car with the engine running. All right, so none of this is looking good. But it's Ryan Coogler. He's a young black man, film director with a lot of money in the bank, has every right to be doing this. He pulls up to the bank, tells his friends, look, you guys just keep it running. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get this cash and then we'll be on our way. Would this have happened if it was, Richard Linklater? Would this have happened if it was James Gunn? I don't know. There's 2 black guys in a running car and there's a dude inside. Let's stop them. Life is complicated. We all take our swings. Different situations appear in front of us. We decide to take a swing or not. Coogler's colleagues were detained. They were waiting in a car outside the bank with the engine running. They informed the officers who Coogler was and what he was wearing, which matched the description of the man suspected of robbing the bank. Coogler's colleagues were then detained in the back of a police vehicle, and Coogler was handcuffed and taken out of the bank by 2 of the officers. After verifying Coogler's identity and his Bank of America account, the officers released him and his colleagues. No way you got 12,000. Come on. Coogler's been filming the sequel to the superhero tentpole Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, in Atlanta. The film is set for release in November. Ever since the renewed, we don't need to go into that. We don't need to go into that stuff but isn't that crazy? He's a big time film director. He walks into his bank. He writes a nice note just for his own safety so that people don't see him walking out of there with a big stack of cash, and all kinds of hell happens to him. That sucks. Speaking of someone who deserves to have hell happen to him, and I don't feel bad about this at all, but, we have to be fair because we covered this when the story first started. Chris Brown is trending. Chris Brown, that piece of garbage. Chris Brown is a total piece of garbage. Always, he's a big douche. He really is. But if you remember a couple of months ago, he was trending because a woman said that he raped her. Remember, he was like on a boat in Miami and like a whole bunch of girls came over and he ended up having sex with one of them because he's Chris Brown. Because, if you're going to have a bikini party on a boat and Chris Brown is going to be there, you got to figure, some stuff's going down. Chris Brown, his reputation precedes him. And then, so Chris Brown hooks up with this girl and then she said that he raped her and, the Miami police were investigating and all of us, myself included, were like, well, yeah, it's Chris Brown. Totally probably happened. Well, totally probably did not happen is what we're learning now. Chris Brown was right. What are you saying, Pugs? That you don't believe all women all the time? Oh, God, do I hate that. That is something dumb people say. Remember, I believe women. Remember that hashtag? I believe women. No. Don't believe women. Don't believe all women. Believe some women. Hear the story, look at the details, and then, make your best considered judgment. But this whole idea that just believe all women, like women haven't been gold diggers in the past. Like this hasn't been a thing. Like every woman who claims that something happened to them, it happened to them. No, I'm sorry. This is why we have investigations. This is ridiculous. In this case, I wanted to believe the woman. I did. I was like, yeah, of course it happened. It's Chris Brown. Nope. Turns out, yeah, this woman's a real piece of work. And he's got the receipts, as the kids say. Chris Brown is firing back at the woman who accused him of rape and sued him for $20 million, insisting voicemails and texts that she sent after their encounter prove it was consensual. And it really does. And now the woman's lawyer has dropped her. So the woman's lawyer was like, yeah, this is a good case. The woman's lawyer is like, she hears the voicemail and she reads the text messages and she's like, yeah, we're not moving forward with this case because you are obviously lying. You are a lying hoe. Here's what happened. She hooked up with Chris Brown and then he ghosted her. He didn't want to have anything to do with her anymore. And she started being all stalkery. She sent him texts. We have the receipts. We'll see them. I'll show them to you. And then we have the voicemail. We'll hear the voicemail that she left. He blew her off and they didn't want to have anything to do with her because, she's the kind of girl who showed up to a boat party and just dropped her panties for he's not going to respect you. He's not going to, he wants to have sex with you. And then he wants to never talk to you again. And if you're thinking that if you have sex with him, you're going to become the next Mrs. Brown, you're insane. And the string of texts began very shortly after he and the anonymous accuser. And why is she anonymous? She needs her name out there now. This is some BS. Chris Brown wasn't anonymous. Why is she anonymous? After what? Pugs, what are you doing? You're really taking it. Yeah, well, wait till you hear what this woman did. The string of texts began very shortly after he and the anonymous accuser hooked up on a yacht in Miami back in December of 2020 and continued for several months. In the text, Chris tells the woman she should take a Plan B pill after their initial encounter. And she responds that she will and adds, I want to F you again tonight. He's got text from her phone. Yeah. He showed that to her attorney and her attorney went, yeah, I'm dropping her. This isn't looking good. Apparently you didn't hold her down and rape her. Apparently she was totally into it. Months later, after she and Chris apparently talked about meeting up again, but never did, the woman sends a nudie selfie and says, you were honestly the best dick I've ever had, and I just want it again and again. Okay. Doesn't sound like a woman who was raped a few months earlier. When Chris didn't respond to this message, she seemed to get peeved, texting, you knew full well I wasn't pressing you 'bout no dick. You told me to stay and then gonna try and play me? Nah, that's crazy. I didn't deserve that, but you def gonna get it. In a voicemail, which Chris posted to his Instagram account, she says, well, let's listen to it. Shall we listen to the voicemail? Should we listen to the voicemail of the rape victim? Again, Chris Brown's a piece of shit, but you got to take these issues as they come. He's a piece of shit, but he's not a piece of shit here. She's a bigger piece of shit here in this particular situation. All right, here's the voicemail. All right, here's the voicemail. All right, let's pull that up. Make sure we can hear it. Boom, boom. Sharing it? All right, we sure are. Thank you, TMZ. Here we go.
Well, what time is it? Put the time and date.
Well, you're giving me mixed signals. You're like reading messages and stuff, and you haven't blocked me yet, so I'm guessing you don't hate me. I just want to see you again. I mean, just answer the phone and then you just hung up. Like, just let me know. Like, if you want me to leave you alone, I definitely would, but I really just want to fuck with you again.
All right, so there you go. There's the rape victim. She doesn't understand why he's not calling her back, and if he doesn't want to call her back, that's fine, but she really wants to fuck him again. But she was raped 9 months earlier, and she wants $20 million for it. Don't just look. There are a lot of bad dudes out there. There are a lot of bad dudes who make victims out of very good women. But there are also a lot of bad women out there who are out there taking their shots at bad dudes. Chris Brown is not a good dude. Chris Brown is not. Does he deserve the headache? Yeah, I think so. I think after what Chris Brown did to Rihanna back 12 years ago or whatever it was at the Grammys. I think anything terrible that happens to Chris Brown, he deserves it. But this particular situation, no. He didn't deserve this one. Oof. Oh God, Jeff is splitting hairs. Every woman should be heard, but history shows that not every woman should be believed. Exactly. You knew what I was saying. Did you? You know what I'm saying? Of course, nobody is saying women are not allowed to claim that they've been victim. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the idea that I believe all women is so stupid. That's just, you are a dumb person. You don't like to think things through. I just believe women because I believe that all men are awful. Well, then you're a piece of shit because all men are not awful. All men are not awful. There are awful men out there. There sure are. There are awful women out there. There are awful people of all shapes, sizes. You know what there are? Do you know what there are? Oh boy, I'm about to say it. You know what there are? There are awful people who are transgendered too. There sure are. Oh, you can't say anything. There are awful gay people. There are gay people out there who are awful. There are awful people in wheelchairs. There are people in wheelchairs who had terrible things happen to them. And you know what? Above and beyond the fact that they're in a wheelchair, they're terrible people. They're just jerks. They're lying, conniving con men. Awful people exist. You don't just flat out believe everybody. You listen. Jeff's right. You listen. You have a right to be heard. Let me hear what you have to say. But I'm not just going to completely believe everything. I wanted to believe this one. I wanted to believe it. It seemed it checks out. Chris Brown's an asshole. That checks out. This is probably true. Maybe she said no. But here's the thing. She didn't say no. And that's what happens a lot of times with these girls who show up to Sunday afternoon boat parties with Chris Brown. You know, what do you think is going to happen? What? Oh, there you go. There you go. I'm just saying. Don't put yourself in a... Nope. Executive order is trending. Presidente Joe Biden has signed an executive order. Biden signs an executive order on cryptocurrency oversight, urging the Federal Reserve to explore whether it should create its own digital currency. He directs Treasury and other agencies to study crypto's impact on financial stability and national security. No idea what that means. But what better time than now for me to check out... let's check in on our cryptocurrency. Let's see how cryptocurrency is doing today. The apps are taking forever. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing today? Is it up? It's up 8.56. It's been up for the last week. It's been crypto's been going up for the last week after just tanking in the early start of the war. But now it's going back up. So good. Very good. Whatever. I don't know what the executive order means. I don't know. It's like Joe Biden's grandkids been talking to him about cryptocurrency and now he's going to make it a priority. I don't know what that... Biden signs an executive order on cryptocurrency oversight, urging the Federal Reserve to explore whether it should create its own digital currency. I mean, I think that's going to happen. I think that paper money and coin money, I think that's not going to be around in 100 years. I think that we will at some point completely move over to a digitized form of currency where everybody's got a number. Everybody's got a plastic card. I don't know. Maybe by then we'll all just have a chip in our finger. Whoop, we'll just scan our finger. Whoop, it'll be something like that. When babies are born, it's like, do you want the chip in now? And then there'll be like protests. Don't chip babies. Don't chip. It'll be like that whole thing. It'll be these are the things we're gonna be all outraged about in the coming years. Plano is trending. The fine city of Plano. City of Plano is trending. I pay particular attention to Plano. Having once lived in Plano, I lived in Plano, Frisco. Yeah, I've little. Dallas. Trying to think of all the places I've lived. Plano. I lived in Plano twice. I like Plano. Plano's cool. Plano, for my friends in the Chicago area, Plano is Naperville with better barbecue. That's how it's at. There you are. If you're in Illinois and you don't know what Plano, Texas is, it's Naperville with better barbecue. Or if I was doing it the reverse, Naperville is Plano, Texas with way better pizza. This North Texas city is one of the happiest in the nation. That's right. Plano has been rated as one of the happiest cities in the nation. The study looked at indicators such as income growth rate, depression rate, and average leisure time per day. Plano ranked 22nd nationwide. I mean, that's not a crazy killer ranking, you know? It's like you really celebrate if you pop the top 10. If you're number one, you know, that's very exciting. Plano ranked 22nd nationwide in a recent study of the happiest places in the country. Plano was the only North Texas city to make it into the top 50 cities on the list. Wallet Hub. Oh, you know, Wallet Hub, they've been doing this for the last 200 years. Wallet Hub's like, what, been around 3 years? I don't know. Wallet Hub's annual study examines positive psychological research to determine the rankings of the 182 largest cities in the United States and at least 2 of the most populated cities in each state. Measurements used in the study included emotional and physical well-being, income and employment, and community and environment. Plano's a wonderful place. It really is. It's got everything. It has got everything. There's everything you could do. Plano's huge. It's like massive. It goes on forever. There's like almost how many people are in Plano? What is the population? I'm like, is there 200,000 people in Plano? There might be. Plano, Texas, population. Let me see. I mean, it's a suburb that is absolute. It's like the biggest suburb I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, there's 300,000 people in Plano. It's a suburb with 300,000 people. I compared it to Naperville because Naperville is like the biggest suburb in the Chicago area. And we don't really have massive suburbs. But okay, so Plano's got 285. Naperville, which is the biggest suburb in the Chicago area, has 145. Naperville is half the size of Plano. And people who live in Naperville, it's too big. We don't. That's really a thing that was different about when I lived in Chicago. Like big suburbs had like 50,000 people. Here, big suburbs have, well, Plano, 300,000 people in it. Let's see here. Measurements used in the study included emotional and physical well-being. Each category was ranked with 30 relevant metrics. Okay, so the other North Texas cities that made the list. Other North Texas cities that made the list of the happiest places in the nation. Plano was number 22. Plano, Texas, the 22nd most happy place to live in the United States of America. 22, Plano, Texas. Coming in at number 3, Grand Prairie, Texas. Coming in at 89, Irving, Texas. All right. Coming in at 97th, Garland, Texas. Really? People in Garland are happier than people in Frisco? Really? Okay. Coming in at 103rd, this should be way higher, Fort Worth. Fort Worth is awesome. I love Fort Worth. I can go on and on about Fort Worth. I would love to retire in Fort Worth. I love Fort Worth. Fort Worth is awesome. Coming in at 107th on the list of happiest places in America, Arlington. Is Arlington bigger than Plano? So Plano's got 285,000 people. What does Arlington have? 500,000. Another suburb with 500,000 people. Let me see. All right. Oh yeah, look at that. Arlington's got 400,000 people. So 100,000 more, 100,000 and change more than in Plano. So Plano's got 285,000 people. Arlington's got 400,000 people. These are suburbs. That's a 400,000 people. what does Indianapolis have? You know, like what is Milwaukee? What is the population of Milwaukee? Is Arlington bigger than Milwaukee? Okay, so Grand Prairie 83rd, Irving was 89th, Garland was 97th, Fort Worth was 103rd, Arlington was 107th, and Dallas pulling up the rear at 111th. There you go. Let's see. There's another thing here on this. They then rank the happiest states. Are you interested in finding out what the happiest states are? Happiest states. What are the happiest states? All right, let's see here. Happiest state in America is Utah. I'll give you the top 10. Top 10 happiest states. Utah, Minnesota, Hawaii. Well, of course, Hawaii. First of all, if you can afford to live in Hawaii, your life's pretty happy. The happiest states in America. Utah, Minnesota, Hawaii, California. California's the devil! Those people are miserable! Everybody's leaving! No, that's just what certain people with an agenda, that's what they're going to have you believe. But as it turns out, people in California, fourth happiest state in America. There's 50 of them, don't you know? So there's 46 other states where the people are not as happy as the people in California. Utah, Minnesota, Hawaii, California, North Dakota, South Dakota. North Dakota's 5, South Dakota's 6. You just know that the North Dakotans hold that over the other guy who lives in South Dakota's head, because there's only 2 people. 7th is Idaho. I guess nothing to do in there. 8 is Maryland, 9 is New Jersey, and 10 is Massachusetts. Those are the happiest states. For my friends in Illinois, Illinois came in at number 25, right there, middle of the pack. Stop your complaining. You're neither the happiest or the most unhappy state. Illinois is right in the middle at 25. How about Texas? Texans are not happy. Texans are at 38th. Texans are the third. Oh, but Texas is Shangri-La. Everybody's moving here because it's the most wonderful place in the world. I mean, I like it. But 38 is Texas. What is the most unhappy? Oh my God. Should we do the bottom 5? Oh, the bottom 5 are just they're the ones you would totally think would be the bottom 5. The bottom 5 states in this country are the same bottom 5 states in every single metric. Every single. All right, we did the what are the dumbest states? What are the ugliest states? What states smell the funniest? It's always the same bottom 5. Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Number 46, least happy state in America, Oklahoma, IA. Number 47, least happy state in America, Mississippi. Number 48, least happy state in America, Louisiana. Number 49, least happy state in America, Arkansas. And number 50, least happy state in America, West Virginia. West Virginia, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing good. Just a bunch of out-of-work coal miners addicted to Vicodin. That's what West Virginia is. How dare you talk about... I'm just saying. Texas is... we here in Texas, we are one happier than Ohio and one not quite as happy as Indiana. What are the happy states? Utah makes sense. Who's blowing up my phone? Somebody is blowing up my phone. Let's see what's happening. Oh, we got another Bitcoin alert. Yeah. All right. Bitcoin went up again. All right. What are some of the other criteria here in the happiest state? Let's shit on some states, shall we? Because they break it down. Highest share of adult depression. States where most people are the most depressed. And it's exactly who we thought. West Virginia. West Virginia has more people who have adult depression, followed by Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Oregon. Oregon, well, I guess it rains all the time, but lowest share of adult depression. So the happiest people, the people who don't suffer from depression, New Jersey, Hawaii, California, Connecticut, and New York. New Yorkers ain't got time for depression. They're just angry. Best sleep. People in Minnesota get the best sleep, and people in Hawaii get the least sleep. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Why would people in Hawaii get the least sleep? Well, I guess when you live in Hawaii, you want to be awake. You just want to constantly be. Highest sports participation rate. Colorado and Montana are tied for first. And lowest sports participation rate, Mississippi, once again. Lowest suicide rate. Oh, this is all right. So the states with the lowest suicide rate: New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, California, and Rhode Island. States with the highest suicide rate: Colorado, New Mexico, Montana, Alaska, and Wyoming. Let's see what else here. I'm trying to see if there's anything with Texas. Highest income growth. So places where people are making more money quickest. Number 1 is Oregon. Number 2 is California. Number 3 is Washington. Number 4 is Colorado. And number 5 is Massachusetts. Lowest income growth. So states where you ain't making more money. You ain't getting a raise. Connecticut, New Mexico, Louisiana, Wyoming, and Alaska is at 50. Yep, don't care about that. Lowest divorce rate. States with the lowest divorce. Utah. Yeah, right? Because when you got like 10 wives, you don't have to worry about divorcing one of them. You just move on to the next one. Lowest divorce rate. Utah is number 1. They have the lowest. Then North Dakota, New Jersey, Hawaii, and Minnesota. Highest divorce rate. Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, New Mexico, and Nevada. Of course. Can't you just don't you just dial 811 on your cell phone in Nevada and you're granted a divorce? Isn't that the safest states? Are you ready? Safest states in the country. The safest states. Maine is the safest state in the country. Vermont, Minnesota, Utah, and Wyoming. Although Wyoming is also a leader in suicide. So, it's not safe for, you're going to hurt yourself in Wyoming, but you won't be hurting other people. Least safe state. These are the least safe states in America. Texas is 46. Arkansas is 47. Florida is 48. Louisiana 49. And Mississippi is 50. Huh. It's all the states with all the gun enthusiasts. I'm just saying. I'm not connecting dots or anything. I'm just saying. I'm surprised that Texas is one of the least safe states. All right, there you go. That's fun with states. Let's see, what else do we have trending? Anything else that's trending? Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving, people. Let's keep moving. Guy Rafit. He's trending today. Guy Rafit, first January 6th defendant to stand trial. He was found guilty on all charges. Guy Rafit, he's the guy that his own kids turned him in, and he told his kids, snitches shot. That's what he said to his kid. So normal guy. 19-year-old son testified against him, said, yeah, my dad's a nutbag, and I just want to go on record. I know he's not paying for college now, but whatever. So yeah, there you go.